taking the leap of faith to get into real estate is something that everybody that gets into real estate has to go through. And it's hard. I remember the first year that I got into real estate, I left my job, and the year I left my job, I had made over $700,000, and I was 25 years old. And my parents thought I was absolutely out of my mind to do that because I was doing really well at my career, which was real estate, but it was, I was working for a builder. And I just wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want to work for somebody anymore. Now that's actually easier because I had some cash saved than somebody that wants to get into real estate that doesn't have cash saved. Either way, making that decision to be an entrepreneur and making that decision to actually say, I don't need anybody to tell me to go to work. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to work hard and I'm going to make a living and I'm going to make a career out of this. It's a decision that every single person that gets into real estate has to make. And it's scary. And the first day of being an entrepreneur and not going to that job, you're like, what do I do? My first day, I worked at Realty Executives when I went into real estate on my own for the first time. I was at Realty Executives. And I remember I walked in, I signed my paperwork, and I was standing there in the bullpen. And it was just cubes in the bullpen. And so I was like, well, I probably need a cube because I need to come and work every day. So I went to the front office manager and I said, hey, can I get a cube? And she was like, yep, they're $75 a month. You want one? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. I get to my cube. There's not even a chair. So I didn't have a chair to sit in. So I was like, well, I guess I got to go buy a chair. And this really nice man, this Canadian guy, his name's Gary Felino. He came out and he had an old chair. And he said, hey, rookie, do you want my chair? And I said, I'd really appreciate that chair. This chair was so busted, but I needed a chair. And so I brought my desktop. I didn't have a laptop. I brought my desktop in with my 2 monitors, set that up, sat in the chair, and was like, what do I do now? And so we all go through that. And sometimes the transition, we have a mentor that we link to that can help us, and sometimes we're just on our own. But what I loved about that leap of faith was that I knew it was all on me. And when you only have you to rely on, that really forces you to look inside and say, I'm not going to let myself fail. No matter what, I'm not going to let myself fail. But that leap of faith is something that's real, and it's something that people have to get over. And so leaving the job that you have, most of the time, people will do real estate part-time, keep that job, and then if they get enough business or have a few transactions, they slowly start to make the full-time leap into real estate. I see that a lot. And then some people just say, I'm going for it. I'm going full-time for it. And either way, just know this, is that there's no right or wrong. But I would definitely have some money saved for at least 6 months. You'll make a check in real estate within 6 months, but we don't know how many checks that is. But that's why I say too, like when you get started in real estate, you work everything. No one wants to work rentals that's an established agent. Work rentals. Do a $2,000 a month rental. That's $24,000 commission. That's $24,000 a year annual at a 3% clip on commission. You're making $720 for doing that rental. Great. I just made $720. I'll go do that 5 more times, and even if I don't sell a home this month, I still at least covered my bills. Work as many transactions as you can when you get started. Because it's not just the money, it's also the experience. And the more you're out in the field working with consumers, the more you start to understand the contract, the more you start to understand the flow, how to tour properly, how to set up a tour properly. Just being in the field gives you a lot of knowledge. But work everything you can work when you get into the business, or if you're not doing a lot of business. If you're the type of person that needs someone to motivate you to get up every day and go to work, or are forced to go to work, second guess real estate. If you're the type of person that doesn't need somebody to tell them, hey, every day you got to go to work, you got to figure out things to do, you got to stay busy because you're not going to be super busy at first with clients because you don't have a lot of them, but that's okay. I'll go get some. I'll go do my open house. Attend seminars. Attend classes. Learn. How can I master an open house? Should I join a team first to have mentors help me? The answer to those are yes, you should. I didn't have a team, and I didn't have a mentor. I just started doing a ton of open houses, and I started working with more and more clients, and it took me a while to crack that code, because just because someone comes through an open house doesn't mean they're ready to transact tomorrow. But I did do rentals. I did a lot of rentals, actually, and it was great because I made some money. I met some great people who referred me when they purchased, because remember, just because someone's renting doesn't mean they don't have friends that are purchasers. So work every deal you can. But that scary part of the leap of faith, if you're watching this video, let that be the exciting part. You're about to venture into something that most people don't have the nerve to do. And that's the world of being an entrepreneur. That's the world you're about to step in. It's hard. It's time consuming. There will be ups and downs. There will be better years than others. But there's nothing more rewarding than knowing that you built your own business. And then the beauty part about real estate is you can make a ton of money in this business. And you can have an amazing lifestyle in this business. You can work while on vacation. You can create leverage and hire people to work your transactions where they're growing their book of business and helping you at the same time. The people that you see right now that have teams and have created leverage, that can be you. And it can happen to you in a much shorter time period than you can imagine. You can do it. You just have to tell yourself, I'm not giving up. Because in your first year, you will have times that you say, maybe this isn't for me. And if you are the type of person that can be honest with yourself and say, I do work hard, I'm not afraid of work, I'm not afraid of taking every client I can right now. If that's you, you'll make it. So don't give up. The people that give up go back to that normal lifestyle, and they'll never dip their toe in the water again because they'll be too scared to do it. If you get through that first year, the second year is better, I promise you. And the third year is better than the second. It just gets better, but you got to have that wherewithal, you know? And when you talk about spouses, so getting your husband on board for you or getting your wife on board for you, they need to be in it with you and supporting you every step of the way, because the check isn't coming every Friday at 5 o'clock anymore. It's coming when I sell something. And when you sell something, the check's going to be pretty nice, but you may not sell that something for a couple months. Or you may go through a span of time where you haven't sold something. Where's the money? This is part of the process. You need to let your spouse know, hey, I'll get there. Just support me. Support me, support me, support me. And guess what happens that I see a lot? After 2-3 years, now you're making really good money or more money than you were at your job. You have an easier lifestyle so you can pick up the kids when you want to at soccer. You can go on vacations. And your spouse ends up joining you because they see what you've done and they want a piece of that lifestyle. Because people, successful agents, everybody would love to have a career as being a successful real estate agent because it's awesome. The lifestyle's great, the money's great, but you got to put in the time. But I see a lot of times one person takes a leap of faith, goes into real estate, and then several years later, that other spouse that was skeptical to begin with and hesitant, now they're doing the same thing. And so get somebody that supports you, but sit them down and say, look, I know this is going to be hard, but I want to do this. I'm dying to do this because I need to prove to myself that I can support this family and I can do it at a high level. And I know it's going to take some time, but I promise you, when you have your spouse as somebody that you can't let down as well as yourself, there's no better feeling than that. I can't fail. I can't fail my family, I can't fail him or her, and I can't fail myself. Those are the type of people that make it in real estate. And if you're not that type of person that, again, that you just think it's going to be kind of fun and you're interested in it, think twice about it. Because it is fun, but it's a hell of a lot of work, and it's not easy. So it's up to you to make that decision. But those that make the decision and stick with it usually make it. And when you start to make it, it just gets better year after year after year. So don't be afraid to take that leap of faith. Don't be afraid to say, this is my career. I'm going to make this happen, and have that confidence in yourself that you will succeed, and you'll make it.